tell us all about you. You're with the Librarian, you're with StartUp Spokane. Where do you want to start?
Yes. So my great-grandfather, just kidding. So yeah, Mark with Spokane Public Library. Also, other hat that I wear, running StartUp Spokane. And yeah, been doing that coming up on 20 years this April. So the years are stacking up. And yeah, we can go into more detail from there, but that's the 90,000.
Let's start with StartUp Spokane. Give us like your elevator pitch or your 30-second rundown. What is StartUp Spokane for those of us who don't know?
Yeah, so StartUp Spokane, just designed to be the front door for all entrepreneurial activity around town. And our goal is to make Spokane the most equitable place to start, run, and grow a business anywhere in the world. That's the goal. And how we do that is by taking your tax dollars, pooling them, and then we go buy really expensive, really powerful, really impactful business research, business productivity tools, and make it available to the community for free to everyone. But free as in it's already paid for, not free as in, honey, I found this couch on the sidewalk, free. So, two different versions of free.
And real quick, I didn't say this. You are all allowed to ask questions. You may have to hold the weird mic if you ask a question. So Ange has the weird mic. And I say weird because it's obnoxiously light and it doesn't feel like it's real, but I promise it's real.
Put some lead weights
in
it or something.
We'll just weigh it down. So if you have a question, throw a shoe at me, throw a balled up paper, raise your hand, get my attention. Okay, so let's talk about those resources for a second, because I know there's like two camps. There's resources that I can use from home if I have my library ID number and a password, but there's libraries or resources that I have to use within the library. So can we talk about why and how and what?
Yeah. It basically comes down to licensing agreements that I'm able to hammer out with the vendors of these platforms. So my ideal world, everybody just logs in remotely from wherever they are with their library card. You could do it here, you could be on the beach in Maui. If you can do that, great, go to it. But sometimes the database vendors are less excited about me just throwing the doors wide open. Their VP of sales would be like, hey, let's throw some friction into this process and make it a little bit harder.
So if it's a tool that and we can talk more about the tools and get into some of that, but if it is a tool that I need to use at the library, what does that look like?
So there's also another fork in that road. So there are tools that you can come in, just connect to our wireless, because it's just looking for the IP authentication as the access. And then there's another bucket of tools that I have to be around with my magical login fingers to get folks access to it.
And if it's a tool where you have to be around, what's the best place to do that and the best place to connect with you?
So initially, go to startupspokane.com. In the upper right-hand corner, there's a book a one-on-one session. Click on that. You'll see my calendar. Book a time there, and we can roll from there. That's generally, those are 90-minute long sessions, so that I have time to run folks through the full slate, give them kind of the tutorial of how the various pieces fit together. And then once we've gone through that, then if there are some tools that I have to be involved to get folks logged in, like Placer or CoStar, then as long as people have kind of that base level understanding of how to navigate the tool, then usually folks just email me and they're like, hey Mark, are you around next Wednesday? I'd like to come in and use X, Y, or Z.
And StartUp Spokane does have a location in the central library, right?
Correct.
And it's like a co-working space?
Yeah, yep. We have the business lab. It's down on the first floor. So walk in the main doors, take a left. We're just right there on the main floor.
Lauren, just plug your ears for a second. Is there a cost to this co-working space?
The first one is free, and then the subsequent one is free, and then also all the other ones are free.
Yeah. So yeah. So there's no cost, right?
No cost.
Okay, you can unplug now. Sorry. Yeah. And it's just a keypad, right? I mean, I think you have to register with you, and then you get a key code. And
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And we have it available for extended hour access, should folks want that, from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. You can come in, use the space.
How do you get into the library at that point?
With your key code, and there's a very particular set of steps to go through so that you're not setting off alarms.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I didn't know that.
And we've been doing this since we finished our remodel in July of 2022. Okay. And knocking on wood, I have, I think, 400 folks with key code access And so far, everyone has been completely playing by the rules, and no one's come in and torn stuff up or behaved poorly.
Okay, that's
So,
awesome.
Yeah, hoping to keep that roll going.
So I like to have Mark come to Business Brew often, not quite every year, but close. And part of it is because of all the resources that the library has available that a lot of business owners aren't, aware of or know about or even, know how to use. Before we talk about that, as we were getting ready for this, you said the library of things,
Yes.
and we used that to plug this one. So now you have to tell us what that means.
Yeah, so has anyone used something from Library of Things? What did you check out?
We've gotten seeds.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
We've gotten like microscopes.
yeah.
That's about it so far.
Yeah, so early advent of the public library world, Ben Franklin and his buddies are like, all these books published in Europe, they're super expensive. How about if we pool our resources, we buy them and then we share them? And that's how the Philadelphia Free Public Library got started. And people were like, that's a brilliant idea. So that was kind of the genesis of public libraries. And it made sense for hundreds of years while books were super expensive and hard to get to. Books are not that hard to find these days. So I think that libraries can be quite a bit more agnostic in terms of the format of stuff that we provide to the community that has value. So tickets to the Civic or tickets to the Mac.
Yeah, that was a new one I learned about, is tickets to stuff.
Yeah, cultural stuff that often, if you're trying to decide, do I pay rent or do I buy groceries, going to the Civic is not even on the list.
Yeah.
So opening up those doors to more folks.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else that we can get from the library? So basically
Oh,
you're
gosh.
saying instead of just checking out books, I can check out all kinds of weird stuff.
Bocce ball sets, discovery passes. So if you're like, I want to go out to play around on our public outdoor lands, but I need a discovery pass.
You can check out a discovery?
You can check out a discovery pass.
Whoa.
Snowshoes, if you want
That's-
to combine that with snowshoes. Yeah.
You're like the
Board
campus
games.
rec center now.
Pretty much. Yeah, yeah. That's a good analogy. Yeah.
So,
Chris.
like, they make you put 2 vehicle license on your Discovery Pass. How do you, what does it say, Spokane Library?
Yeah, that is a good. I've not actually checked one out myself. I'm not exactly sure how the logistics work, but I'm sure somebody has figured that out. And on that front, I've contacted, what is it, the Fish and Wildlife, whoever issues those passes. I'm like, can you just give me 2 passes with just one line for the license plate? I have 2 cars. I always am driving the wrong car,
Yep.
and I leave my pass in the other
Well,
car.
they want you to buy 2, my guy.
And I'm like, right, I get it. But also, you're giving me access for 2 cars. Can I have just 2 passes?
What'd they say? No.
Can't do it.
Yeah. That's impossible.
That's impossible. And I'm like, well, you just take out one line and you give me 2 of those passes.
So let's
Yeah.
double back. So now,
side tangent.
So you got StartUp Spokane. It's
Yes.
got a lot of resources, whether it's I can access at home or I can access in the library. You do have a co-working space. The Library of Things means that there's more than just books. You've said this before at one of these, that the library is not a museum. It is not a place where you have every book. You're going through these phases where you're phasing out maybe older books or irrelevant books. So it's not that anymore. It's not a, but it does have all these other things. So let's talk about some of your favorite tools that you have access to that, businesses in the room might get jazzed about.
Yeah. Well, I think probably the most recent addition to the toolbox is a subscription to Placer.ai. And within that, we also added an extra license to Spatial.ai.
Oh.
And it's basically just foot traffic monitoring platform. So I think a good kind of example to show how it works. There's a woman I'm working with over the last 6-7 months. She wants to open up her own Scandinavian bakery here in the coming year. But this year, she's been going around to farmers markets and kind of testing out what she's offering. But she's trying to figure out who her market is. So with Placer, we can put a geofence around pretty much any location in the US. So for her, we did it around Kendall Yard's night market area. We dialed it in to just Wednesdays over the last 2 summers, but not just Wednesdays, but Wednesdays from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then from there, we can see foot traffic amounts, how many people show up, where they're coming from, where the households are located that are picking up their feet, and their phones that have GPS geolocation turned on, and going into the night market, so she gets a sense of where the households are located that are going to a particular place. And then from there, creepy levels of data within spatial that's just sitting between point of sale systems, credit card processors, pulling in a whole bunch of other data sources. So if you are at all in the business to consumer world, you got to be using Placer. It's stunning. In the 20 years that I've been doing this, if someone were holding a gun to my head this afternoon, like, Mark, choose just one tool, Placer.
All right, so I always feel compelled to say this. So as a marketer, I have the same kind of response that you do. Like it's awesome, it's really powerful. But to enjoy that, you have to take off your like I'm a human hat and put on your marketer hat, because the I'm a human hat like goes, this is not cool.
Right.
How much they track and how much they know, and how much they're, because it's between your, like you said, your phone, the point of sale, your credit card. Mm-hmm. So you take that hat off and you put on your marketer hat and you go, this is really
awesome.
good data.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit, and we don't have to talk about Placer and spatial the whole time, but let's dig into that a little bit more. How do they actually get this data? What does the data represent? I'm assuming your story, she's using the data to figure out what's the best neighborhood or location for a Scandinavian bakery based on where people are coming from, going, how they travel to and from a farmer's market, right?
That, in addition to kind of putting together the persona or the avatar of who it is that she's trying to reach.
So,
and if she already kind of knows, like, yeah, it's people who go to Kendall Yard's night market, that's kind of her audience, then we can break that down to within 80 different household types that spatial dumps us all into. And from there, it's all the kind of spending behaviors. Do we tend to go to REI, or do we go to Lululemon, or do we go to Value Village to do our shopping? What grocery stores do we go to? Do we like, Yolks, or do we go to Trader Joe's? Are we on Facebook, or are we on TikTok? That data just goes on and on and on in that manner.
And how are they gathering it?
And they're gathering it in any number of ways. So kind of the primary piece for that geolocation is just mobile devices. And they have data for about 10% of the US population. That's kind of their estimate. So that's what, roughly 35 million folks that they're tracking around. That kind of forms the sample size of what they're working with. And then from there, then they kind of build out their models in the background. So that's a big piece of it. Basically, however the sausage gets made. You store loyalty card programs. If you've got your Fred Meyer card, or your GNC card, or your Rite Aid card, anything that's tying your purchases back to your household address, that's just a vacuum cleaner for that sort of thing.
And you said point of sale and credit cards. So are they actually using credit card data?
They are.
And where does that come from? I know the answer, but I like to hear you say it.
Yeah, so a couple of different sources, but I would say primarily, so Experian, credit reporting agency, they know. They know, like, 1 to 2 times a week, Mark leaves the library and walks the block across the street to Dry Fly somewhere around the 4 o'clock range during happy hour, because I swipe my credit card, and within milliseconds, they know what I just bought, where I live, a ton about me.
So, okay, we don't have to get this granular, but I find this so much fun and fascinating. Again, marketer hat, not human hat, right? So they have only 10% of the cell phone data. Is it because it's based on carrier and who's agreed to sell that data or give that, or is it something that I opted into on accident? Is that how they get that data?
Yeah, so I think it'll be, I would have to do
a little digging.
Digging.
Okay.
So part of the beauty, if anyone's looking to change careers and thinking about becoming a librarian, I get paid to say I don't know for a living. People ask me questions, I'm just like, I don't know.
Okay.
But I have some tools to go look it up. So I couldn't tell you exactly right off the top of my head, but I do know that, like, if you have an app, say if you have geolocation turned off just on your device, but you've got apps running on your phone that have geolocation turned on, they probably have agreements with those particular sources.
Those things we agree to that we're
Just
not really thinking of.
Scan through
Yeah.
16 pages and click yes at the bottom.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in there somewhere it said Mark Pond's going to gather
Yeah.
your data
Yeah,
and
exactly.
use it to sell you stuff.
Exactly.
And one more question on this one. So, and again, I know the answer to this, but they don't know your name. They're not giving names over, are they? Or are they giving names? Where's that line drawn?
Right. So Placer and Spatial, they pride themselves on not having personally identifying information. I mean, they literally walk you up to the door, and then they say, "Oh, we have no idea who lives here," but
Yeah, but they do.
they do. And the workaround. So part of the workaround there is that, say, if there's a particular household type, you know, your Rust renters or your Good Life citizens, you know, those are two of the 80-some different household segments that they put us into. On any number of different platforms, so X, Snapchat, Reddit, Instagram, they allow you to basically put together a campaign to say, I want to reach a particular household type on Reddit here in the Spokane area. You put in all your age and your income filters, and you want these folks to be married or single, with kids, without kids, male, female, and then it'll generate a list of encrypted email addresses that then you can upload that into that particular platform. If it's Reddit, Reddit knows how to decode it, and then your message is just going out to those specific user accounts if they're on that particular platform. If Reddit looks at it and they're like, we have no idea who this person is, then it just drops off. Yeah. So
So is it the same for snail mail? Like, can you create a list?
So the 1-2 punch is with Spatial, we can dig in and say, all right, we know this particular census block group up here on the South Hill, 70% of them are the Good Life citizens. That's who we really want to target. It'd be awesome within Spatial to just say, who are these people? They don't allow you to do that. But with our Data Axle subscription, which is something that you can log into remotely
Anywhere.
from wherever you can go in and create your own custom maps to say, all right, this census block on the South Hill up by 37th and Grand, draw your own custom boundaries, put in your own filters of like, I only want to see people who are mid-30s to mid-40s, who are married, who are homeowners with kids, and you can kind of recreate those personas and those segments, put that into Data Axle, and then that gives you lists of actual names and addresses.
So you sent something to me? Describe me.
Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of the 1-2 punch there between Spatial, Placer, platform, and then this other tool that we have,
Data Axle.
Data Axle.
Okay. All right. That was a lot in like
Yeah.
15 minutes.
If y'all just soak that up,
yeah,
that's awesome.
just, you know,
Quick side note. If you didn't catch all of that, on the StartUp Spokane page, if you go to the Get Started button in the upper right-hand corner, right at the very top, there's a link to, I think it's something video library. I have a bunch of YouTube tutorials that are running you through how these various tools work. I don't have it for every resource that we have because it feels like it's this constant hamster wheel where by the time that I finally get around to recording one of those tutorials, 72 hours later, the platform changes, they move the menu bars around, and I'm like, crap.
Yeah.
Now I'm back to square one. So.
Okay, so let's go back to something you said at the beginning about StartUp Spokane and trying to be a jumping off point. So a question, I know Horatio's asked this before, it's come up at other business brews, is there a single point of entry if I'm a business owner or I want to be a business owner or I want to be an entrepreneur where I can go and figure out all the steps I need to take to start a business or be a business, or what are the resources available to me in this community? Is that still kind of the aim with what StartUp Spokane is trying to do?
That's, yeah, definitely a goal. It's a big one. It's a big one to take on. Ideally, whichever door you walk through, whether it's SBDC or, you know, Carl Maxey Center or Ahana or StartUp Spokane, ideally, any one of those doors will show you all of the other doors. But definitely with StartUp Spokane, that's definitely part of what we're trying to provide is kind of that ecosystem map of who does what around town. And, you know, for me, having been doing this for coming up on 20 years, and I feel like I'm just now kind of getting to the point of feeling comfortable knowing who has what strong point and who provides what. Asking our startups to navigate that from scratch, that's a tall ask.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And
yeah,
that's
so
that's
a
aside
part
from
of it.
like how to actually register a business and start a business in the state of Washington, DOR, Secretary of State, all those steps. You at one point did have a list that kind of walked through that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that still there?
It is still
So
there.
if you're starting from scratch, there is some information about that too.
Yep. Yeah. Go to get started. What the tab is, choose your business structure. I can't remember exactly what the terminology is, but it kind of walks you through the process of, hey, if you're setting up an LLC, make sure you talk to the Secretary of State first before you get your business license. Otherwise, you're back to square one. You have to burn it down. I don't know how many people I've met with who like, yeah, I've got my business license. Now I'm ready to get my LLC. I'm like,
Nope.
well,
Or
And
it's
it-
easy
and
to
it's-
do it the other way, where you start with the Secretary of State and then forget to go actually
a
get the
business
license. Yeah.
I've had that as well.
I
where
won't
people have
say I
got-
ever did that.
I've got my LLC. I'm in business. Like, well, actually, and it boggles my mind that I mean, thousands of people do this every year here in the county, and that the fact there's still so much cloudiness around the process. I'm not exactly sure why.
Like 2 lines on the Discovery Pass.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It should be an
Right.
all-in-one registration. It is not. Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
they have to have a separate login for the Secretary of State versus a separate login for the Department of Revenue. I don't know.
It's good times.
If I were king of the world, the things I would change.
Wave a magic wand.
Yeah.
All right. So, oh yeah, go ahead. We'll throw the mic her way. Jillian has a question.
So do you help people determine what type of entity? Because I feel like I've gone and spoke before at a startup event and just like, hey, this is LLC versus S Corp versus 1040 type of thing. Do you guys help with that or have referrals or?
So my initial starting point is I'm not a business attorney. So I punt pretty quickly on legal stuff, which the receiving end of that punt is Gonzaga Business Innovation Clinic through their law school. It's free business legal assistance.
Yes.
Which is not a sentence that you will hear anywhere else for the rest of your life. You know, I mean, free legal help of any type is super hard to find, let alone business stuff. So usually, I say go talk to Gonzaga Law School. Also, we do subscribe to a platform called Legal GPS, and basically it just tries to kind of gamify the process of setting up an LLC. It doesn't fill out the paperwork for you. It just kind of walks you through, like, hey, are you going to be single entity, LLC, and single member LLC? And people are like, single member? Well, I want to be the owner. I'm like, yes, well,
That's not how they work.
yeah, just swap the words out. They're weird, but yes, you are the owner. And
I want to be the founder, is what a lot of people want to be. Yeah.
Which is great. So I don't go so far as to give recommendations other than to say, I'm constantly shocked and amazed by the number of businesses around town that are sole props. That I get it. If you're up in your attic doing clothes alterations, that's pretty low risk. But I've had folks with food trucks. I've had folks running senior citizen assisted living homes
As sole proprietors? Oh my gosh.
It still gives me shivers whenever I say that. I'm like, and I don't know exactly I don't know if it's just like head in the sand or people are just super optimistic about the world.
Or maybe they don't really
or they don't
understand what an
know.
LLC does and how it provides that, legal protection and separation.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, so you meet with a lot of business owners and you talk to a lot of people. What are some of the questions you're getting right now? What are people coming to you and asking you about?
Yeah, so I would say beyond kind of that formation piece of how do I just get a business up and running, we've kind of, not through some grand design, but just kind of by stumbling our way forward, seems like we've kind of ended up in the marketing world. And so, whether you're a new nonprofit or you're opening up a muffler repair shop or dog walking business, whatever it is, you're probably going to need some marketing resources at some point. So that kind of is one of those basic foundational things that kind of runs across all industries. So those tend to make a lot of sense for us to kind of gather those resources. We have some things that are really kind of narrow and nichey, like PitchBook. We're the only public library that has a subscription to PitchBook, and that's basically just a database of companies that are raising private capital.
We'll double back to that one,
and or their investors. But if you're opening up just a mom and pop business here in town, PitchBook does nothing for you.
Yeah.
But for the folks that it does hit the target, they're like, yes, this is amazing.
It is, all the way in the back. So Jillian, do you still have it? Oh no, Angela got it back.
Yeah, I was curious. Sorry. On the digital resources, how do you actually use those? Is that an in-person thing at the library only, or do you check out a login? And do you have one-on-one help there?
All of that.
And then last question, what was the capital database subscription you just mentioned?
PitchBook.
What is it?
PitchBook.
PitchBook.
Yeah. Probably the easiest way to find which tools are available in what manner. On the resource list from the StartUp Spokane page, we have them all just listed out alphabetically with a little note of log in remotely online with your library card, or come to the central library and connect to our wireless, or talk to me. Yeah, and I try to keep those talk to me ones to a minimum because they're kind of a pain for all of you. I mean, it's job security for me. They can't fire me. I've got the magical logins. So, but yeah, sometimes though I'm just. Yep, startupspokane.com. Book a one-on-one in the upper right-hand corner of the page. That'll take you to my calendar. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So when you say marketing, the instant thing that comes to mind is how many marketing firms there are in Spokane, including one next to you. And so I'm curious, where do you draw the line between offering tools through the library versus digging into the resources that are available in the community?
Yeah, so I feel like kind of my lane and the library's lane is providing the tools. And then I'm pretty much hands off at that point with recommendations like, hey, we have subscription to LinkedIn Learning. We have a subscription to Udemy. If you want to take classes and DIY it yourself on the marketing front, go to it. If you want to take advantage of some expertise around town, here on the list of mentors at the top of the page, click on the marketing option, and we've got some folks who have spent their professional lives thinking about this so that you don't have to. So, so for those who want to do that kind of DIY approach, we try to provide the platform for that, but also recognizing that not everyone has the time or resources or the interest sometimes, frankly, to really dive into it. And I would say that's probably one of the bigger stumbling points for StartUp Spokane that I've come to realize is that, there are folks who I kind of run them through our list of resources and they're like, yeah, that's amazing. I can definitely see the value and applicability there. And I don't have the 27 hours that it's going to take me to really get conversant with these tools and really put them into practice. So at that point, that's where I kind of punt to folks around town. And also, it seems like kind of our tools are aimed more at finding the people that you want to talk to, how you craft that message. That is something that I generally like. That's totally up to the folks that are on the other side of the table. And I'm like, there are people who spend their entire professional lives digging into how you craft the message, not just who it's going out to. I mean, you could have the best contact list in the world, but if you're communicating in a way that lands flat, it's not going to work.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dave.
Hi, Mark. I just wanted to ask you about chat, AI.
Yeah.
Where does all of that fit in, and how do we make sure that it's not fighting it, but actually complementing everything you're doing?
Yeah, good question. So, I use Claude pretty much on a daily basis for various tasks and kind of that 90,000 foot overview. But a lot of our tools that we subscribe to, it seems like more and more the good stuff is getting hidden behind paywalls. And I think that there's kind of this dangerous concept that anybody with a phone can find all of humanity's knowledge on demand. It's like, you can find a good chunk of it, but there's also a big chunk that's locked behind paywalls. And you have to shell out some pretty significant dollars to get access to it. So a lot of our tools, I feel like they go to great lengths to keep their stuff hidden from the general web and the AI world. And just, I don't know, it seems like every few months, just as kind of an exercise, I'll throw in some question of like, hey, I'm thinking of opening up a coffee shop in Spokane. What should I know? And the AI world does a pretty good job of giving you kind of the general breakdown, but when it comes to which neighborhood should I be looking at? You know, what streets have the best traffic counts? And that granular level of data, at least so far, it doesn't seem like the chat world has that in any sort of authoritative manner. Sometimes they'll throw out stuff,
it'll guess.
And I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds great, but
Yeah.
I happen to know it's wrong. Yeah. Yeah. So I think as a good general starting point, it's great. But also, if you come across something that allows me to say, I want to open up a restaurant in downtown Spokane that is going to be serving beer and wine and alcohol, what are all of the regulatory things, licensing things that I need to know about? The city of Spokane has a great restaurant opening, if you want to open a restaurant, the roadmap of here's who you need to talk to about your hood for your kitchen. It's the regional health district and it's the fire department. And if you want to do outdoor seating, here's the outdoor seating permit. And if you're near a waterway, here's what you need to consider. I've yet to see an AI platform handle something like that well. And it seems like the data should be out there. It should all be relatively publicly available, but I've not seen anything that really just cranks that out of the park. I think the other example was a guy that I worked with last year. He wanted to open up, and I don't think I'm giving away his business secret because I think he decided not to do it. He wanted to open up a mobile boat gas station out on Long Lake.
Oh.
Basically a barge that's a gas station that he could take down to the far end of the lake, because boaters get stuck down there routinely, and then they have to get towed back or whatever. And so he wanted to do that and also have like a little convenience store selling beer and stuff. That was an interesting exercise where he got involved with the Coast Guard, that they wanted to be certifying whatever it was that he was doing, and pretty much every single entity and agency out there that you could think of. He had to try to figure out how to talk to them. Often they were like, no, we're not the people that you need to talk to. We're not the one who certifies how, your gas pumps are actually pumping a gallon when it says a gallon. That's the Department of Agriculture.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Weights and measures or whatever.
Yeah. So
Weird.
that was the sort of thing where I thought, come on, ChatGPT. I want to open up a mobile floating gas station. Tell me what I need to know. Because it seems like it should be able to scrape that all together, but no. So that was kind of a meandering answer, but yeah.
So you mentioned pitch deck, PitchBook.
PitchBook.
And so one of the things that got me thinking about is, capital. A lot of businesses need money. They need startup funds. Yeah. I know you don't have access to those resources per se. Maybe you're aware of them, but something like PitchBook is a place for like a classic startup to go, right? Because it is showing who's building or who's investing, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, especially if you've got some scalable business.
Yeah.
If you're opening up you know, pet retail store in Kendall Yards, and you're not looking to take over the Petcos of the world. Most VC firms, they are not that interested in what you're doing. So it's usually for kind of health science, bioscience, tech.
So, yeah, innovation. Something, yeah.
Something that can really blow up quickly. But also, it does get used a fair amount for just sales lead development of, you know, being able to say, show me all of the biotech firms on the West Coast that have raised at least $2.5 million in VC funds over the last 180 days. And if you've got some product or service to sell to those types of companies,
that's a pretty good list.
Gets used pretty heavily for that.
I'm not sure how many of our friends here are in the nonprofit world, but I know you also have some nonprofit resources that are interesting. Should we talk about those too?
Sure.
Yeah, let's talk about.
Foundation Directory Online, which is basically our grants research database. You pretty much have to be a nonprofit to get any value out of that, which on that front, if I could wipe any one question from public consciousness, it would be, I'm opening up a business. What grants are available to me?
Then
I can't just categorically say none, because lightning does strike it in some weird, unpredictable ways at times. But for folks who are looking to start a business and are looking for grants, it's an uphill climb.
Yeah.
For sure. So anyway, Foundation Directory, and then also we have a license to GuideStar, which is basically just directory of nonprofits, and can take the deep dive into the finances of Catholic charities and see how much revenue they're pulling in and how much they spend on admin versus their programs and so on.
Well, that's another powerful tool if you're trying to sell to that group or something. If you have a tool for nonprofits, you have that available.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Foundation Directory Online, all the grants available, and then the other one was GuideStar.
Correct.
Okay. You mentioned another one. I don't know that I was familiar with, and I have to find where I wrote it. Oh, it was CoStar.
Oh, yeah.
What is that?
CoStar. They are basically trying to be like the Zillow of commercial real estate.
Oh.
Yeah, which my wife and I, we sold our house spring before last, and when a residential property goes up for sale, it lands on the multiple listing service, and then John L. Scott gets to see it, and Redfin sees it, pretty readily available. Apparently that's not how it works in the commercial real estate world. It's much more fragmented, and so if a broker puts a property up for listing on CoStar, it might not necessarily show up on Crexi or some of these other platforms. So CoStar is trying to kind of stitch that quilt together.
Is that just for built like commercial properties that are selling, or is it also for stuff that's up for lease?
Both.
Oh.
Yeah, and actually there's kind of my go-to example. There's a woman here in town, she's in the snack bar manufacturing world, but she has a partner in the Denver area, and earlier this summer, she was like, hey Mark, can CoStar give me a list of all the Denver metro properties that are industrial, so kind of manufacturing spots, that are 15 to 20,000 square feet, 20-foot high ceilings, 400 amp electrical service, and at least one loading dock. And I was like, I don't know. But let's go take a look. It was literally an 18-second search, and it's like, boom, there's your list of 62 properties that match those filters. Then you can download them, send them on out.
So the library of things, as it relates to businesses, you can solve, or at least you have tools that can help solve a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Right? If I hear you right, though, what you're saying is like, once you get to the introduction, you might even be able to offer a tutorial. Once it gets to the use of the tools and what to do after that, that's the gap, right? That's where they're going to have to find somebody that can help them, whether it's a paid resource or something.
Exactly.
I don't know how many, I know there's SCORE and SBDC. I don't know how many mentors are, well versed in those tools, but that would be maybe that next step is find somebody to actually help you execute or, use the data, right?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other trends or questions that you're seeing from businesses, especially recently as things are weird out in the world?
Yeah, beyond just kind of the like hospitality types of businesses that are cropping up, coffee shops and bars and restaurants, seems like there's there's a noticeable number of not necessarily like senior retirement community types of businesses. I mean, some of those, but a lot of like senior care adjacent types of businesses, like handyman, but all I'm going to do is focus on kind of senior proofing your parents' house and put in ramps and the
It's like
grab rails.
reverse baby proofing.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So things along that are kind of in that world, definitely been seeing a good number of those coming along.
Nice. Okay. As we any questions as we kind of get near it? Got to have one or two. No. All right. Is there a tool that you haven't talked about yet for businesses that we should be aware of?
Actually, I have something in mind, but even more ideally, I'm always on the hunt for tools that you all might be thinking where you're like, man, if I just had access to brewersworld.com, or even if it's pretty narrow and niche, there are enough brewers around town that if we all got in a room and threw some money into a hat, if there's something like that, that's kind of how we've come by our subscription to PitchBook and also CoStar. The library pays $0 of the license for CoStar because it's kind of crowdsourced from entities around town. So if there's something out there where you're like, man, that would be incredible value, but I can't make it pencil, let's chat. Yeah.
You may have a taker.
Right.
I heard you guys have a lot of good resources like studios, like
Yeah, we didn't even
green
talk about that.
screens, so like
Jeez,
anything,
Mark.
anything that's like physical resources where you can like similar to like the co-work space. Like,
Yes.
but I
Great
heard you have
question.
green screen and maybe a seamless wall for photography. Is that
Yes.
true?
That is all true.
He is not a plant. I promise. We did not put him there to ask it.
Yes.
That would, but
Thank
a
you.
phenomenal question we both should have had.
Right. Yeah, so up on the third floor of the Central Library, we have our podcast studio. We have full-on professional grade music recording studio with our own sound engineer that you can book time with for free. And I have an uncle who's professional musician down in the Bay Area, and when he came up to visit, we were giving him a tour through the library, and he's like, yeah, and here's the recording studio. And when we went in, he was like, damn, I had vision of like a closet like this big that you could maybe fit 2 people in. This is full on, I'd say from that pillar, actually slightly bigger than that, from that pillar over to the wall, this deep, the big plate glass window with the audio engineer on the other side moving
Whoa.
all the buttons and dials on a board about as big as these 4 tables here. So,
Does it have like the software too? Do you have like
Yeah.
what are you guys using?
oh God, I don't know,
Okay.
but I could look it up. Yeah, so there's that on the audio side. And then, yeah, full-on video production lab, green
Really?
screen, 3 editing bays.
What?
And also you can either come in, use our equipment, use all of our tools and machinery, or you can also book time with our video education specialist,
Oh,
Ryan Dean Tucker.
somebody who can even help you go through it.
Yeah, oh yeah, he'll hold your hand. And also, kind of in the library of things, Ryan, in his kind of mad scientist mode, he has an entire kind of little corner of his video lab that he's given over to analog to digital converting. So Super 8 film that you might have, if you've got some 16 millimeter film that you want to convert to digital, if you've got LPs that you want to put onto a thumb drive, bring them on in and he'll help you work through all of that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, well, I was just gonna say 3D printing.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah.
and
Okay.
3D printing.
And is that at Central or is that
Yes.
somewhere? Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
And what is the material that you're able to 3D print with? It's not, you're
yeah.
not getting anything crazy, right?
I don't think
Probably
so.
standard.
I think it's pretty standard, whatever.
But if you need to like
something
a
plastic.
rough prototype or something, you could do that. Is there a
Yeah.
specialist that we can book time with on that too?
I know that you can just submit the print file online, and Colin Colin's our guy who kind of deals with the 3D printing stuff. So I'm not sure if he's just like 100% of the time. He works in our IT department, so I think he kind of takes on the 3D printing stuff on the side. But short answer, I think
Yeah.
we'd find somebody to help.
Okay.
you. Yeah.
Was there another one, or are we okay? All right. So we
Okay.
promised this because we put it in the teaser for this, but I would be not doing my job as host if we didn't talk about beer for a little bit. So you
Yes.
said something about like your favorite beer or favorite beer spot. What do you want to hit us with?
Yeah. Well, I already mentioned Dry Fly.
Yeah.
Not specifically on the beer front, but I got to tell you, their happy hour, Monday through Thursday, all day Sunday, and then it's Monday through Thursday, 4 to 6, $5 Manhattans,
Really?
$5 Old Fashions. Yeah, their mixed drinks are $5. They're basically paying you to come in
Yeah.
and drink their stuff. It's amazing. Oh, and their whiskey flight is $5. Yes, it is. Yeah. And then from there, I'm a sucker for Iron Goat. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Charlene. You guys, if you were here downtown, I would be hitting you guys up. But for local, walkable
Downtown.
from the library, either Whistle Punk or
Oh yeah.
or Iron Goat. Those are
Any favorite beer that you're consuming?
yes,
Okay.
all of them.
All of them. I always joke I have two favorite kinds of beer: free and IPAs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm definitely in the same camp. The Headbutt IPA from Iron Goat.
nice. All right.
Right up
Round of applause for my friend Mark Pond
Thank
for
you.
coming. Again, thank you to Slab for recording this. So the recording will be available here shortly, and to Fellow for hosting us. So round of applause for those people. We wouldn't be able to do it without them.